Welcome to the big show.
He could go all the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on? Happy Sunday. It is actually All-Star Sunday, and we come to you with a special All-Star episode here on The Rundown. We are here to recap those Sunshine Bowl games that took place yesterday. One of our own PFA members happened to be playing in one of them, so we're going to get to that. But as always, The Rundown is powered by the Players Football Association, the leader in pro advancement sports, for the players, by the players. We are the PFA. I am Chris Cousins, and as always, with me, my co-host, all the way down in sunny Florida, enjoying that good weather right now, is my man Brian Mitchum. And how's it going down there, Brian? You getting better weather than me? We had a winter advisory that came.
It actually started raining when I got back from the gas station, Chris. So it's not sunny right now in Florida, but it's not cold. So I will take rain and cloudy over cold. But it's going good, Chris. Just enjoying the day, ready to talk some football, recap some Sunshine Bowl games, and just really look ahead as we will be preparing for the MFOC here at the end of March. And you know what that means, Chris?
Yeah, I do know what that means. That means the season kickoff is right around the corner for the PFA.
And Chris, tonight on the show we have Sammy from the Low Lights podcast. He's going to jump on with us to recap some of the Miami games. You are watching episode 32 of The Rundown, sponsored by Trinity Trifecta, the official uniform provider of PFA teams. Check out Trinity Trifecta for all your uniform athletic apparel needs. Trinity Trifecta, eventually everything connects. Make sure you check out the PFA website also for all the updated scores, schedules, and stats. And if you go over there right now, you can also see that there is a handy dandy little poll going on, so make sure you go check that out and vote. And like I said, you can see all the stuff that's going on in the PFA, upcoming games, scores, stats, all that stuff. So make sure you check that out. That's at the PFA, the Players Football Association.com. Sorry about that. And yeah.
Now, as always, if you're a first timer here, we welcome you. And if you are part of the rundowners, as we call them, we like to welcome you back. But again, if you haven't already, please go like and subscribe to our Facebook page, to our YouTube channel. Also, we're on TikTok, we're on Threads, we're on Instagram, the Rundown Podcast. We are not hard to find. But right after this, we're going to have our guy Sammy join us from the Low Lights Podcast. We're going to go ahead and get these recaps started after this break. Welcome back to the show. This weekend down in Miami, sunny Miami, I might add you, Florida, the 25th annual Sunshine Bowl took place. In fact, still going on as we are talking. I know the Cincinnati Dukes right now are playing the New York Bandits. I believe the score was 12-14 at the halftime. We're going to try to tap in and see if we can get a final score before the game is over. But there are some teams that played yesterday too. All of them from all over traveled to Miami, Florida for a chance to take home a national championship or a national bowl. So our first guest that we have is our guy Sammy. He's from the Lowlights podcast. Here to recap those games with me and Brian. Like to welcome him on the show. My man Sammy.
Sammy, you there? Uh-oh.
He's on the audio only.
Yeah, he turned his camera off, so I don't know if he realizes he was.
Shout out to National Players Association who just jumped in the chat, man. Love to have you join us today, man. Talk a little recap. We'll get Sammy back on here in a second. But the games that took place yesterday, if you guys didn't know, were the. Can you bring up that graphic for me?
Yes, sir.
Predators against the Carolina Chiefs was definitely a good game. Started out pretty rocky for the Predators. I know at halftime it was 14-0 Carolina. Predators were actually able to come back and tie things up. But like Coach Crow said in his post game, you have to play 60 minutes of football. And they did not come prepared to play that. And Carolina ends up rolling on to take that victory 28-14. You can see by the stats here, they definitely Predators did not pack an offensive line.
No, they did
were
negative 1 yard rushing. Wow.
minus 1 yard rushing is crazy work. Definitely had some receivers there with 169 passing yards. But as you can see, Carolina won the battle that's the most important battle, and that's up front. They rushed for 178 yards. And when you win that battle in the trenches, that usually tells you who's going to win the game. Also, they won the turnover battle, only giving up 1 to the Predators too. So, unfortunately, sorry for my man Tommy and the upstate Predators, taking that loss out there in Miami, but well deserving for the Carolina Chiefs taking that win.
That's right, Smooth. Offensive line is the most important position because you got to have those big dudes up there blocking so the quarterback can pass and get the ball off. And apparently, the Predators didn't have that.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people don't pack it when they go to Florida. One of the most important things you need more big guys than you do skill positions when you're traveling to these national games. Because you can easily put a DB at receiver, you can easily put a DB, a wide receiver, at running back or one of the skill positions. It is hard for you to go down there and not have enough D linemen. And I mean that offensively and defensively.
Right.
You can't really have a lot of guys playing both ways either. That also is going to gas you in these national games. So you need to make sure you got 5 offensive linemen and at least 5 defensive linemen coming to these games. Pack that first. It's like when you go out of town, they tell you to pack your toothbrush first. This is an essential right here. Okay, pack your line first. Make sure that they are there, and I guarantee you're probably at the end of the day you're going to come out on top. We've seen that all this postseason. The Cowboys and Illinois Cowboys against the Admirals showed they packed a heavy offensive line in that game and were able to come out on top. So do your due diligence when you go to these games and pack offensive line, man. Pack offensive line.
Now this next game, Chris, I know you're itching to talk about this game. I'm sure everybody saw this game. And I will preface this by the amount of penalties in this game was absolutely insane. 35 penalties in an hour football game is crazy. The Baltimore Phantoms, Northern Kentucky Wolfpack. I watched most of this game after I finally got onto the stream after I paid for it, which that's another story. But it was 8-8 for the first half of the game, Chris, and all the way into the fourth quarter. But you saw it. So what's your thoughts about this game?
I'm gonna preference all my comments with this. Number one, before the trolling and everything begins, let me say this. Yes, the PFA took a loss yesterday. In life, you're going to take losses. Okay.
Yep.
It matters what you do after those losses. It matters how you respond. But I will also say this. Name me one league that had the opportunity to have 6 teams play at nationals. And to
Zero.
be able to go 5-1 is still an astounding mark that we made for pro advancement for the pro football advancement culture. So even though we did, shout out to the Baltimore Phantoms, they came, they did what they were supposed to do. They made plays when plays needed to be made, and were able to come out on top. But if I have to be honest, because I watched the whole entire game, it was sloppy as hell on both sides.
Oh yeah,
It
35
was sloppy
penalties.
as hell on both sides. There was and you would think that because of the amount of penalties, 38 penalties to be exact, that maybe it was like tussling between the players, personal fouls. No, ma'am. No, sir. These were false starts, holdings, multiple delayed games, um, illegal man downfield. These are execution penalties that if you
Basic
prepared properly, you wouldn't
fundamentals.
have you wouldn't have came up with these penalties, especially delayed games and false starts and offsides. I never understand, Brian, how a defender could jump off sides for the D line and he's right there in front of the ball.
I don't either, and I don't play football, but at least I do know that this is fundamental stuff that pro advancement football players should not have to be taught. Maybe I'm wrong, Chris. You played
No,
football, but the amount of penalties in this game to me was
ridiculous. It was
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
And then for the game to end the way it did, I
Was
I
even
mean,
was even more ridiculous because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we are all grown men. Okay, we are all grown men. We are out here to play a sport that we love. Okay,
mhm.
let's respect the game.
if
Okay,
you, if you go all the way down to Florida and your game gets ended because you can't keep your hands to yourself like a 5-year-old in a 6-year-old in first grade, man, you wasted your time, you wasted your money, and wasted your effort. That's all. That's how I feel about it.
it's ridiculous because it wasn't just on one sided affair. It
No,
was both teams. Number 7 from the Phantoms catches the
scored
touchdown
a
pass,
touchdown. Yeah,
scores a touchdown that to put them up 14-8. Moss does a great job at catching Moss the DB.
oh yeah,
And
beautiful
then he
catch.
goes and starts taunting the other team that leads into the altercation where both teams have to be separated on the field, and then he gets ejected from the game. Make that make sense to me. I just scored a touchdown to help my team possibly win this game because at the time it was only like 6 minutes, 6:30 left in the game.
Well, yeah, there was 6:30 left in the game
Yeah,
when
to
they called
possibly
it.
win this game, and then on top of that, I'm gonna get myself kicked out. Like that does not make any sense to me as a football player or as an analyst and somebody who watches the game.
Right.
Like you did your team no justice whatsoever. None, nada, niche, none of that. Okay. So definitely, like my man National Smooth said, definitely it was super sloppy. Super sloppy on both sides.
It definitely was.
Okay, Sammy's just texted me, said he fixed his video.
There he
There he
is.
goes.
How you guys doing?
Sammy, we doing good, man. Appreciate you having you back on the show again. We were just sitting here recapping the Phantoms Wolfpack game that ended in the Phantoms from Baltimore taking on and winning 14-8 against our beloved Wolfpack, our 2A champions here at the PFA. Were you able to catch the game, and what were your thoughts about the game if you were able to see it?
Yeah, I actually got the Bandits and Dukes on right now. I
What is
thought it
this?
was
What is the score
7.99
of
for
that
the whole
game? By the way,
weekend.
I hate to cut you off. What is the score of the Bandits game right now?
All tied up. 2020 fourth quarter just started.
Woo,
Okay.
man.
I thought
Thank
it
you
was
for
like
that.
a 7.99. You watch all the games all weekend. I didn't know it was a 7.99 per game.
It is per game, my friend. It is per
So
game. I tapped in yesterday and paid my $8, and I was not going to pay it again. I was I was disappointed by what I had to watch, so I wasn't encouraged to
Yep.
spend another $8 to watch the Duke game today. So I'm glad you got it tapped in for us. You can keep us informed about what's going on. That sounds like it is a great game going on though.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. It was 14-12. Dukes came down, scored. Now the Bandits went down, scored. Now the Bandits got the ball back. It's been pretty back and forth. Nothing too crazy. The Bandits should be up. I would say the Bandits should be up another touchdown. They threw a couple red zones. Well, I would say one red zone pick, but then a couple questionable plays.
So back to what we were previous talking about. Were you able to see the Phantoms game yesterday?
Yeah, I was surprised about how sloppy it was. A couple of the notes I took down was the turnover game. Who was going to have less turnovers? But
There was
9
9
turnovers
turnovers
between the
total.
two games is crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, that's
Listen, Buck Solomon, shout out to Buck Solomon for the Wolfpack. He had 4 interceptions. Okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The one key that the Wolfpack can key on is their secondary looked good. If you didn't watch the score of the game, the way the secondary, well, the way he was playing, you would think the Wolfpack were running away with it because the Phantoms couldn't do much when he was shutting them down. Every time you think they were about to do something, he had a pick. But then
Man,
the other way around, it's like I don't get how the Wolfpack couldn't run the ball.
I don't either. Listen, and then stayed away from doing the bubble, the wide receiver screens, which the one broke for like 65 yards.
well, they
And
called
I
that one back. Didn't they call that one
No,
back? It was
that no,
only
that one stood. That one went.
Oh,
He went
okay.
60. He went 65 yards
No, it was the
on
my
the on
interception
the.
question
that
is
the
too, because when they heard, you could hear the Wolfpack players and them, they were commenting on the sideline about that. Why aren't we throwing the screen? And I'm pretty sure one of the guys said to the quarterback or the coach, "We don't have enough time to throw the screen. The screen, as I teach young quarterbacks, is like turning a double play. You should actually have your lineman cut. Most people don't do that in semi-pro or pro advancement football. We don't cut, out of respect for you got to go to work
Mhm.
Monday. But realistically, in a '90s quick game, your tackle's cut and you throw the bubbles right or left. But it's not a. There shouldn't matter anyone blitzing anyone. I could see if you got like a Adam Hutchinson, Miles Garrett, 6'5" kid at the end,
right.
with the long arms,
Which none were available yesterday, Sammy.
Nah.
Okay, none.
exactly. So it should just be a catch, ball gone, catch, ball gone. Even if you got to work on flipping your hips the opposite way, it's not a. There's no steps required. There's no. The only time I try to teach quarterbacks too is like, and you should only run it once. Let's be real. Jailbreak middle screen is only
Mhm.
going to work once.
Right,
Once
right,
those D
right.
linemen feel how it feels to get let go, they're never going to think that they beat you again like that. Let's be real.
But it was crazy the fact that, and I say this respectfully for both teams. I don't think we saw the real Phantoms. I think they made a lot of mistakes too offensively, that they probably didn't make during the regular season, because they are, if people didn't realize, they are a champion of their league. So to have two champions of a league play this
you
this
almost gotta you
it's
almost
just
gotta ask
crazy.
yourself. You almost gotta ask yourself, like people are saying with the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl game. Was this more of a Eagles defense was that good? Because we all know Mahomes is the man.
Right.
So was the defenses that good that they made these offenses look that sloppy? Because let's be real, it looks sloppy.
It looks very sloppy. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, there was times
Like
where Mo Money from the Wolfpack would, get a couple good throw plays going, and then next thing you know, he's fumbling the ball, and they've lost 20 yards. It's 4th and 47. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
because when
Now
I saw the
now
bubble screen for the touchdown, I didn't think
Yeah.
it was 60 yards. But that being 60
No, not that,
yards,
not that screen. The screen that I'm
okay.
talking about happened in the second half, and they had just got they just got it off an interception from Buck, and they were like on the 14-yard line. And dude ran back and forth across the field like 2, 3 times, cutting back, and he made it all the way to, I want to say like the 35 yard, the 30-yard line. Like, he ran a good distance, bro. Like, and
Yeah.
they never went back to it again. After that, they never threw another wide receiver screen. They never threw anything.
So
And the crazy part about it is they got 70 yards on one play, and they only ended up with 103 for the game. So
right. So when we know what people are going to say, Chris and Sammy, that the refs were throwing so many flags that their wrists were probably hurting. I mean, we know there was 38 penalties in this game. Do you feel like the referees weren't letting the teams play, or they were just flag happy? Or I mean, what are your thoughts about that many penalties? I mean, you've got to call the penalties that are blatant. We know that, but do you think they were just throwing the flag on everything they saw?
um, I look at that as a catch-22.
Right.
Everyone complains about the refs, but then when you get a game that they're calling every play, all of a sudden it's, do you think the refs controlled the game? But let's be realistically, 9 turnovers, 38 penalties. Let's say we take away 8 of those penalties. Now we're looking at double-digit turnovers for a game. We're looking at 12, 13 because I'm pretty sure a fumble got called back and another pick got called back off of penalties too. So you got to
Yeah.
think about that too as a team. Oh, there was a penalty. Oh, we had a pick, but like realistically, um, like Chris said, this is a two-way championship teams on both sides. So you got young guys, you got vets on those teams that, let's be real, are probably coming from other AAA teams where they weren't the man, but now they're the man because they're playing Double A. So
Right.
it's like, I feel like if you ask most people, Double A football is competitive across the nation because you have so many AAA guys that will drop down to play Double A. But then at the same time, it's the perfect mix of, is it going to be, is it going to look good or is it going to look sloppy? And I think we saw that picture yesterday of, okay, this is Double A football. It's sloppy. Guys are missing tackles. Guys are getting penalties on plays that should never be penalties, especially like we're in our 20s and 30s. Like, and that's the one thing that, like, don't get me wrong, because I still play. Do I get penalties? Everyone gets penalties. Any person that says they don't get penalties, you're lying. Now,
I
is it
think more so,
called?
Sammy. I think more so, Sammy had to be. It was more so to me. It was the penalties that they kept getting. You understand what I'm saying? They were execution penalties, false
Exactly.
starts, delayed games, offsides, illegal man downfield, pass interference. Like these are simple executions. These aren't you weren't getting like personal fouls for jawing and going back and forth with one another, and tempers getting high. Y'all couldn't get the play in.
That to me sounds like a chemistry issue. Like, I mean, like we all know, we mentioned before, that these teams don't have their normal season roster. A lot of players can't go down for whatever reason, family, work, whatever. So they pick up players, and the time they pick up these players, there's not enough time for them to gel with the veterans of the team and the people that have been on the team for a long time. I feel like it's a chemistry issue on some of those penalties that kept happening. But still, and at the end of the day, both teams look sloppy to me, and 14-8. It seemed like a good defensive battle, but if you watched the whole game and seeing how many penalties there were, there was a lot of sloppiness to it. So, but hey, congratulations to the Baltimore Phantoms. They went down, scored, and won the game. I'm sure they didn't want the game to end like it did, but um, it would have been better if they could have finished the game, because the Wolfpack could have came back. There were still 6.5 minutes left of the game before it got called.
Yeah. But I'll say my last words, and these are not even my words. These are words of our director, Joe Long. Joe Long, and he said it best. He said, if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail.
Exactly.
And that's what I watched yesterday.
Our next game was we don't have a graphic for the third game from yesterday, which was the Virginia Mustangs guys and versus the Kings Mountain Forest, and the Kings Mountain Forest did win that game 28-14. I didn't see that.
Shout out to the CFA. Shout out to Dales, our director of rules and regulations. She's the owner of the CFA. She got her one. She got her a 3A national champion in Kings Mountain. Kings Mountain did a outstanding job last night, taking it to the Virginia Mustangs. Led early, led most of the way. Honestly, I want to say the 14 points they gave up was in garbage time, to be honest
You want
with
to say
you.
hi?
An update on the. Sorry to cut you off, but Fred Smith, our number one fan, said Dukes are about to score 2020 right now. 10:38 left in the fourth quarter, but the Dukes are about to score. So he is.
See, my man Blue Chew. Blue Chew had a fumble recovery. Okay, Blue
Pretty
Chew.
sure. Appreciate you, Fred, keeping us updated. If you could keep us updated if they do score, so we can talk about it here in a minute.
But yeah, Kings Mountain looked real good. I want to say at one point in time, like I said, the points were scored in garbage time by Virginia Mustangs, respectfully. Because it was 20, I want to say it was 26. It got when they scored 28, it was like 26, 28 to nothing in the third quarter. So they you put in some backups at that point in time, you know what I mean? And what happens. You just try to hold on for the win. But shout out to the CFA. They also have another game today as well. So the CFA trying to go 2-0 in national play. Sammy, were you able to check out the Kings game, or you didn't pay for it like I didn't? I just heard the highlights.
I heard the highlights on that one after the first purchase. I was trying to jump around to see how I watch it. I was seeing if there was any lives for it, but I was like,
hey, you
right,
felt like me. I felt like I got bamboozled, brother.
Yep, $8 a game.
$8 a game times 6 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
I would have rather did like an all day pass situation because that's what I thought it was going to be. Not even going to hold.
I thought they used to do that. Honestly, I thought it was
going to be.
I would have mind paying like $15
gave you 15
for a day.
If he would have said like 15, I'd have gave you 15 for all 3 games. You know what I'm saying? To be able to watch all 3 string games, that's $5 a game.
Or 25 for the whole weekend or something.
Yeah, or like 25 for the whole weekend. You know, whatever. You know, I would have signed up for that, no doubt.
Bob, where you going?
But it was yeah. After I had to watch the sloppiness of that game. I wasn't football friendly after that.
Another game that took 4 hours to complete because of all the penalties.
I had to turn my TV and watch the slam dunk contest and get back rejuvenated again. But a game that definitely was not surprising to us was the game that happened earlier today. And that was the Midwest Renegades. Excuse me, I don't want to say Vengeance. That's a whole other team. The Midwest Renegades taking on Union County Hornets, and just as I knew,
take the lid off.
The Midwest Renegades did they thing. They've been doing their thing all off season, playing in the off season tournaments, killing teams by more than 25 or more points in these games. I was not worried that they were not going to sit up here and show out. You can see by 210 rushing yards, 227 passing yards, a grand total of 437 total yards in the game, and literally shut the Union County Hornets down to only 24 rushing yards, 119 passing, and a total of 143. Also, they won the turnover battle 3-2. So shout out to the Midwest Renegades, man. Y'all aim to do what y'all set out to do, and proud you can finish that story. Okay, so we got an update. 27-20. Dukes are up. Extra point is good. There's 10:23 left in the fourth quarter against the New York Bandits right now. So shout out to the Dukes. Let me ask you about that, Sammy. Since we're talking, you're from the I won't say the upstate area, but you're from the East Coast. You are East Coast representative. I went to the Three Blizzies group today. I was just trying to feel the vibe, see what was going on. I saw a lot of Ohio hate, man. Okay, I'm not going to say some of the things that were said in some of the posts, but man, I got love for New York. You know what I'm saying? I love them guys. But it was a lot of Ohio hate being spewed, man. A lot of it.
Well, what I can tell you about the East Coast, like this part of the East Coast, is whenever a Connecticut team plays a New York team or a Mass team or anything like that, it's Connecticut versus everyone. It's New York. So they got that motto, it's New York versus everybody. So you're not going to get any type of love, especially when you're playing one of their teams.
Oh, my God, bro. I mean, it's always Ohio versus everybody, too. You understand what I'm saying? But we don't, to the extent that they were taking it to. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even people
Oh,
on
they
the
tripping your
Bandits
grandma
team.
crossing the street today. I don't think y'all realize that. Your grandma ain't making it home with the milk today. Like they
Man,
running
like I was
pockets.
like,
They doing it all. They definitely,
Tough
you know,
crowd, man.
that's
Tough
that New
crowd.
York mentality. They're taking it all. Like they don't care. And guess what? So the way we taught our people, because we played, you know, like CTP always played the Seminoles and stuff like that. Like, and
uh,
we played them in preseason games. Is a lot of our younger guys are from like, you know, I'm from like a city setting. I'm from New London, which you know, you have the project stuff like that, New Haven,
mhm.
Hartford, stuff like that. A lot of us come from the same neighborhood, so it's like we're used to it. But when I played for the Rhode Island teams, we would notice whether we were more athletic or a better team that they would get in your head. So, you know, like one thing about New York teams, even the teams that stink, they're gonna talk it. They're gonna talk
Right.
it, talk it, talk it, and you gotta shut them up. You gotta legit, you gotta legit like shut them up. There's no other way to put
I
it.
ain't gonna
Like,
lie to you. I still remember, and this is telling my age, but I still remember we played. I was playing for Ohio Golden Knights, and we played the Brooklyn Seminoles. I had never heard of the Brooklyn Seminoles before. We played them in the Sunshine Bowl. This is years ago, and we didn't come prepared. You know, we didn't pack enough players. You know what I mean? And we came off a championship. We were champions of our league. They were champions of the league. I think we both was 13-0. So it was supposed to be a huge matchup. They beat the brakes off of us, okay? Not even gonna hold you. Beat the brakes off of us. The one thing I remember, not even this, I don't remember the score, but the one thing I remember from that game is they had a cheer after the game that they got it said if they can't play on the field, blow their ass out. That's all I remember from the Brooklyn Seminoles. I mean, they did this chant, Bryant, like 3 times in a row, like loud as hell. And I'm like, I'm so embarrassed, you know what I'm saying? Because we really got blew out, you know what I'm saying? And I know the type of team that we had. Like, this is not the we came as a shell of ourselves, you know what I mean? So
Right.
like now we've put in like this is the representation. That's why I am so opposed to teams not traveling heavy to nationals. Do not show yourself a shell of yourself at
I need to
nationals
pick it up.
because when you meet another team and you play another team out of state, they're going to think this is who you are. And if you don't want to damage your brand, I suggest you come heavy.
Go that way. Wipe it off.
So yeah, that's Brooklyn go hard. I mean, New York in itself, they go hard. It was just I wasn't looking for love, Sammy, but I was just looking for some gamesmanship. And Jesus Christ,
Oh,
they
after the game, they'll shake your hand.
oh yeah, they shook our hands after the game. They were definitely, it wasn't no love lost, nothing like that. But
Skip will feed you. Skip, you know, Skip take care of you if you're cool.
Devontae said y'all set up Union County. Why y'all do him like that? Hey, I didn't set him up. Again, me
Hey,
and
they
me and
beat the.
Brian, we were, hey fellas, hey, me and Brian report the news. We don't set up the we don't set up the games. All right.
That's the Sunshine Bowl that did that matchup.
Listen, first of all, I feel like anybody who would have played Midwest Renegades probably would have got that work. Not even gonna lie to you. They went through a tournament they went through the Dirty Bowl and
They
everything
beat the
to
brakes
get to the
off Flint
Sunshine Bowl.
Fury,
Yeah,
44 to
so
something.
yeah, I'm not surprised at the score. I'm not
Yeah,
surprised at all.
I got charged. I wasn't gonna embarrass myself. I got charged $3.99. I thought I was getting a deal buying that game. I bought the wrong Renegade game. I bought the Dirty Bowl game too.
Oh
Oh, you bought the Dirty
no!
Bowl?
Oh
Oh.
no!
And the
So
worst part
You
is they
got
have a
fleeced, bro. You got
when you go
fleeced.
on the page, they have that free trial for 30 days. That button don't work.
Listen, a lot of buttons. Listen, for a point in time, and no, not trying to throw no shade or nothing. Shout out to the 82, video team that does it. Whatever. No shade, but they blocked me out, brother. I had to call Brian to get Brian to log on to send me the link so that I could use another link to get on because I had tried so many times. It said, you know what? I had to call Dunk. And Dunk was like, well, let me go holler. I said, bro, I am blocked out. I cannot get in. It will not let me get in to see the game. But in hindsight, I wish I would have stayed blocked. But I had to do my job.
hey, we could always send the two teams that we watched the sloppy game the invoice for the $8.
I plan on it.
Tell them we want our
You
money
know what?
back.
That's a good idea.
I plan on it. I need my $8 back because I was expecting, and that's on both sides. And like I said, I feel like I didn't see the best of the Baltimore Phantoms because there were some good plays by them and their receivers. Running back, he wasn't that bad, but they didn't string enough plays together to look like a real team. And crazy part is some of the cats that were on there were from played at my alma mater, played at Morgan State. So I was like a little excited, a little bit, but the execution was not there. Again, like Brian said on the Wolfpack side, chemistry. Mo Money was not their quarterback during the season. He came in as a mercenary for the game. So communication with the play calling and this and that probably was a big issue for them. But again, that's why you prepare, you practice before you get there. Tyson Nelson says MWF, a top 3 league. Yeah, it is. Midwest Renegades definitely proved that right. Proved that right.
Still, the game going on. Cincinnati Dukes and the Bandits still going on, but the last game tonight is going to be the Lockport Wildcats versus the Fayetteville Ducks. That's the team that Miss Dells is in her league too, the Fayetteville Ducks. So good luck to those guys.
I think Fayetteville might be able to pull it out. That's why I told Des she might be able to have a chance to go 2-0. I wasn't really expecting Kings Mountain to do as good as they did yesterday, but they did. I knew Fayetteville because I believe Fayetteville was her champion of the CFA. So I'm expecting them to do great things. All right, Fred's giving us an update. 6:23 left in the fourth. Bandits are on the 5-yard line.
Oh man,
looking to score and tie things up.
Hey, I know we're not supposed to pirate the stream, but I'm about to ask Fred to send me the link so we can pirate the stream.
I'll be right downstairs in 1 second to look at the screen myself.
Man, at this point, we need to because the score, Devontae, is 20-27.
27-20.
27-20. Dukes are up. Fourth quarter looks like the Bandits are going to try to tie things up here and make it a tie game going into those crucial minutes at the end. But Sammy, as always, appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you talking a little football with us here, getting a recap of this games. Tell us, before we let you go, let's talk a little shop. What's going on with the lowlights? What's coming up next for you guys? How can you be reached? How can they watch the show? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, you can reach me through Facebook. I got phone numbers on Facebook, emails. You can reach me just about any possible way possible. Basically, for the first episode, we're shooting like a first episode. We've been shooting a couple clips. I got a couple guys, a few different ways. Like I was telling Smooth, basically, like I have a couple guys that just came home that have turned their lives around and stuff like that. I have a couple guys that should be pro athletes, but because of substance abuse or different things that have happened to them, why didn't they make it to the league? Stuff like that. I have a couple friends who are pro athletes, so we're gonna talk to them about. I'm gonna try to get one of my real good friends on next month before he goes to spring training because he's had a couple Tommy John surgeries now. We all know how that goes for pitchers. And basically, the main focus is the mental health part. So we want to figure out how do we get to and it's not just a guys thing, but let's be real. We all love football. We're all involved in football every single day. As you guys saw in the background, my son's 8. He's playing football now. We got to make it a point to be able to talk to each other. We've all lost friends to suicide. We've all lost friends and let's be real, it's not just suicide. We've had some friends do some crazy things, but CTE stuff like that. And it's just awareness, given a platform. A lot of people think, it's all about just the football side of things, but it's not. If you want to build a village, a community that's going to last forever, you got to be able to take care of everyone on all assets, not just the field. So we're trying to build that here, within our home. With Kev and Kenny and those guys having the platform. Kev was right there to back me up on it. We lost a couple of friends. Shout out Coach C and the Bruins. They lost Deb. He's a great kid, great stuff like that. And we just want to be able to open it up. And I always tell people, like a lot of guys in the league that I'm in will tell you, like, for that 60 minutes, I could be a jerk, I could be a dick, I could be a lot of things, but like a couple guys will tell you just now they got a couple puppies off me, and when they came over to hang out, we introduced them in the house, and like these guys were rivals a month ago, and they're like, you guys were so cool. Like the Silverbacks are all cool because a lot of the guys on the Silverbacks are family to me. We all hang out. And I'm like, oh, bro, when you take the jersey off, it don't matter what jersey you're on. A good human being will take care of you.
Right.
That's how we've been.
Right.
It's a brotherhood. Like jerseys, people don't realize. I look at it as the jersey only lasts 60 minutes. If you're a good dude outside of here and I can help you out, I'm gonna help you out. So that's what we're looking to do. I just want to shoot the first episode, more of like a podcast episode, not just like on the, like a lot of guys will be like how we're on the video chat right now. I want to do like an in person for the first one, and then be able to bring you guys on like this and stuff like that once we grow it. But I want to talk to the guys in person. I want the camera to be able to feel them, not just, hey, can you go on your phone and let's try to get you on real quick. I want them to be able to feel it. Like there's a couple guys on here that, and Chris, where we come from, how it is. Like there's a lot of guys that in the streets that were respected that I'm gonna bring on this episode, and when they break it down,
Right.
it's the goal is to keep the kids out of the street, show guys a better future, and basically to be there for anyone, men, woman, whatever whatever you identify as, it don't matter. But football is the easiest outlet for all of us to connect through. So if I could talk to you about the Super Bowl, why can't I talk to you about how your day was?
Right.
So,
but yeah, shout out to Kenny and Kev, man, East Coast Locker Room. I know we were supposed to have them on today, but had some family situation, and my man was playing in the game. Shout out to
Las
the
Vegas.
Golden Bears. Went up there and took care of business. I saw
Golden
last
Lions,
night.
Golden Lions.
Is it Golden Lions? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I said
Golden
Golden Bears.
New England Golden
Golden
Lions
Lions.
went out to Vegas and put it on those boys with 19 of us out there.
Oh, hey. I was watching the score go up and up. I'm like, man, they gonna stop scoring? I think was it 32 to 14 or
32-14, but it was like 26-0 at one point, 28-0.
Damn.
Oh, looks like we got a major alert of the Deuce game. Looks like it was a 4th and 14, bad lateral by the Bandits. Looks like they shut them down on 4th down. Dukes have the ball
First
from their
and 10 on there.
16-yard line.
Ooh, all right.
Can the Dukes put together a drive to shut the game down? This is money time right here. This is what I call money time. Can you drain that clock? Can you put some first downs
That's
together?
what matters.
Drizzy with the big pass breakup and stops them from scoring.
Okay.
Our live.
My man Drizzy Pope with the pass breakup. I know he's got that on his go cam, so I can't wait to see that footage. I know he's go cammed up. But Sammy, as always, it's good to have you on here. We can't wait until that first episode drops. We'd love to, promo it. So just let us know when it does come out, man, so we can advertise for you, man. And then next time we get together again, hopefully it'll be another New York, Ohio, or New York, New Connecticut, I should say. Get some things
What
going.
I was telling Duncan, I said to Mike and a couple of the owners of the PFA that come September, October, like if dudes aren't playing in tournaments and need a bowl game versus somebody, I'm looking to have my team travel, whether we qualify for a national or not. We'll be good by then. But like I told you, we're rebuilding, young team. But I try to tell people I come with dogs, so come September we'll be all set.
Oh yeah,
awesome to hear.
Awesome to hear, man. But you enjoy the rest of All-Star Sunday, man. And we'll be in touch, man. Appreciate you coming on, boss.
Always. You guys have a great day. We'll be talking.
All right. Again, that was our guy Sammy from the Low Lights Podcast. Again, you can check Sammy out on Facebook at the Low Lights Podcast. I gave a thumbs up. You can check him out on the Low Lights Podcast on Facebook. He also is in I almost made a big word. He also works with the East Coast Locker Room. Our guys Kenny and Kev from them. Like I said, Kenny has a team, the Golden Lions. They had a game yesterday up in Vegas. They were able to win 32-14, so that's why their absence is here today.
They're actually on their way back from Vegas today.
Yeah, on their way back from Vegas. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to go ahead and wrap things up and talk shop about what's to come. as always, we want to thank Trinity Trifecta for being a proud sponsor of the Rundown. Trinity Trifecta, the official uniform provider of PFA teams. Check Trinity Trifecta out for all your sports uniforms, athletic apparel, and clothing needs. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook at Trinity Trifecta. Trinity Trifecta. Eventually, everything connects. So, Brian, man, we're coming to an end. We're wrapping up this, what we will call the off season / national bowl season. Final thoughts.
I mean, look, the PFA went 5-1. We wanted to go 6-0. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but that's okay. 5-1 is a great accomplishment. And I know what some people are going to say. There wasn't 5 teams that are in the PFA, and I know Kurt Gardner has mentioned a couple times the Bison's wasn't in the PFA last year, but we're still claiming them because we can. So we're still 5-1. But I'm happy to get all that out of the way and get closer to the season to start to see who's going to be the new champion of the league coming in 2025. And we kicked that off with the MFOC in about 40 days, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm with you, Brian. I'm glad that this is the end of the National Bowl situation, season as we will call it. And we are now 3 weeks, or should I say almost 4 weeks away from actually starting the PFA season. And what a season it is going to be with the new teams that we have garnered, as far as the Kalamazoo Titans, the Indy Bison, the Racine Raiders, and our returning champions, the Motor City Rams. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to those games. I'm looking forward to see when the cream rises to the top, who is that team going to be. I'm also looking forward to our 2A division. Looking forward to these new upstart teams, the Warlocks and the Deacons. Also looking at revamped teams such as the Hawks, and our proud what we call it, stowaway son, and then Flag City Phantoms coming back to the fold and seeing what they can do this year, minus what they did last year, losing in the championship game, trying to get some redemption for themselves. So it is going to be a great year, a fantastic year. I can't wait. And we get to cover it. So season 2 of the Rundown. I mean, it started at Christmas, but now it's things are going to start picking up a little faster, a little quicker once these games and nationals end. So I can't wait to get to that point to where you'll be seeing our faces twice a week.
That is right. Don't forget, speaking of that, Chris, we'll be on Sundays we've been on Sundays for the last couple shows, but we're going to stick with Sundays as our main show, the Rundown. And then on Thursdays, you'll be able to catch me and Chris for the Rundown Extra Point, which is going to be just a recap preview of what we talked about on the previous show on Sunday. But that Thursday show will start at the beginning of the season. So look for that. And like always, those are going to be on all the streaming platforms. And we got a lot of stuff coming up in the pipe. We got sponsors for the show coming in. So we're progressing really good. And we appreciate everybody that's tuned in so far for the first year. And let's see.
Jimmy, I will be at the MFOC. Brian won't be able to join me, but I will be at the MFOC. Unfortunately, Jimmy, with sad tears in my eyes, I will be broadcasting from the University of Cincinnati. I won't be at Mount Healthy, and that's where you guys will be playing at. So I will again, unfortunately, I got to see you guys last year, but I won't be able to see you guys this year play. I'll be at Mount Healthy covering those 2 games. But shout out to 216 Network, who is going to be partnering with us to be able to be streaming those games at Mount Healthy. So all games will be streamed via live stream by myself and 216. Also, my man Smooth just put in the chat, Nationals of Players Association Go Talk interview tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Make sure you tap in. Tomorrow's President's Day. You ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got to go to work. Check it out tomorrow at 7:30. National Ghost Talk. You can check it out at National Players Association Facebook page. I'll have the link on our page as well. National Ranking Players Association. I get it all mixed up. National Players Association is a proud ranking sponsor for our show. We only put up the rankings from MPA. Hopefully, we can get him during the season to when he releases the rankings as far as the teams are concerned. We can have somewhere where he comes on the show and he reveals the rankings for the teams. Right now, I believe he is doing the player rankings, and we are on tight ends. Yep. Tight ends. We're on tight ends. So you haven't got your votes in yet for tight ends, best in the nation. And if you haven't got your information in as far as your stats or videos, please go to the National Players Association and enter that information as soon as possible. I think voting is still taking place right now.
So update on the game. Defensive pass interference on the Bandits. Duke can pretty much go into victory formation there on the Bandits 30. That's from our color commentator analyst, Fred Smith.
Thanks, Fred. Our media, Jimmy, I knew your media team was going to be there. I figured that much. But yeah, 216 will also be there to stream for the PFA. He'll be there doing both games as well. I just talked to him the other day and locked him in. So he will definitely be there in attendance, my man Romel, to do that as well. So we will be covering all bases. You guys will stream, he'll stream. Everybody be able to see the game.
We might have some special segments, pop up here and there where Chris reports from the games and we get, during the MFOC while it's going on. We might do something like that. We'll plan it. But that is what's going on currently with the show and with PFA and what will be coming up the next few weeks. If you're watching, as always, thank you for doing that, and we appreciate you very much.
And if you haven't done so, please do not forget, go to our Facebook and our YouTube page. Please give us a like and follow. Tune in for our next show for more information that will be posted. All right. And for my co-host, Brian Mitchum, and myself, Chris Cousins. See you next time on The Rundown. And as always, catch us if you can.